Table or truth?
Hi, folks. Hit a like and don't forget to subscribe. And share the episodes if you like them. Okay, so yeah, welcome to another edition of Table for Truth. This is episode 19. I'm Xavier, this is Tyson. And we're here back at the crib. We will have a nicer background for everybody. I was told by one commenter on who watches the show that we could probably use a backdrop here that's better than puzzle pieces in a bowl of artificial fruit.
What are you doing, man? Don't.
Well, just adds a little.
Put it back.
Put it back. All right. Well, anybody watching the show today, feel free to email me or vote or just write a comment on YouTube and tell me if that fruit needs to go. Okay, so Tyson, what's on your mind? A lot's happened once again since 2024, January 8th or 9th, when we did the last show. Anything up for grabs here that's you're
Well, do you want to start off light or you want to start off serious?
Let's start off serious, shall we?
Okay.
And then we'll work our way down and let the enzymes digest better with a little bit of light entertainment or moments of discussion. Wait, this show, though, is focusing on, issues of the day. So I had a couple my own here. Going back to the campaign trail here for the the Republican side of the aisle, if you will. We know that Nikki Haley has apparently her polls seem to be doing all right according to some metrics, but a lot of people, at least on the online community and just in general, have been like, I don't get it. I don't know anybody that's voted for Nikki Haley, and yet the poll numbers seem to be impressively all right. I'd love to meet.
When you say impressively all right, let's talk numbers. What are we talking about?
All right, let's take a look at the recent polls here. Polls for Nikki Haley, but I'll be honest, I didn't have that prepared on my notes there because I had.
Let me give you some.
All right.
Tonight you have the January 15th, the Iowa caucuses, and so the most recent poll that I saw was Trump was at 48%, Nikki Haley was at 20%, and Ron DeSantis was 18-19.
Okay, the fact that Nikki Haley, okay, we'll leave it at that. Although a lot of people I've talked to on the street don't really trust Nikki Haley, so they find that even in Iowa, how could the polls be that much better for Nikki Haley than Vivek? That's a good question, but let's give her the benefit of the doubt. A person who I will not mention for this show to darken the theme of this conversation, because I know this man's name irks you, brought up some interesting quotes.
You can say Brand's name.
Russell Brand. This show may be a subsidiary tribute to Russell Brand's show, because I'll admit, if you're ever watching this, Russell, I personally find it very inspiring what you're doing, and a lot of the basic key highlights that you put in for your shows, I'll go and research a little bit, and then just kind of go with that, and then just see what's going on. But honestly, you have a pretty good superposition of all the basic themes that I don't want to talk about.
And if you are watching, Mr. Brand, it's that you're not quite my cup of tea as delivery-wise. However, as I have advised X, a lot of your points are truthful. So I have no problem debating or talking about some of the subject matter.
See, that's respect. If more people could do that in the human race, where I may not agree with what you're saying, but I don't have to get all wigged out and my day ruined and not be able to sleep, and I knowing that you exist on the same planet. I think that's a good attitude. And I commend both of us, if I may be so bold, for having this show where we have sort of like a bipartisan kind of politics volley back and forth. So anyway, with that said, Nikki Haley quotes. You can check out the actual quotes for yourself, but she had been quoted saying that at one time she will not run for president if Trump ran.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so we're going to play a little game here. It's going to be sort of like a game with actually no answers that you need to guess, because I'm going to give you all the answers as I speak, but it's going to feel like a game show. So I'm going to just give you the quote that she said prior in time space.
Yes.
And then I'm going to give you the quote that seems to contradict everything she stands for.
So you're talking about Nikki Flip-Flop Haley.
Flip-flops,
Go for it.
Tivas. So I will not run for president if President Trump ran. And then later on, no more than, we'll say a year or two, and I'll have to check the exact dates on this, she's quoted as saying, I'm Nikki Haley and I'm running for president.
Correct.
All right. I'm Steve-O and welcome to Jackass. That's just kind of how I feel for that. All right. I will not now or not ever support raising the gas tax, she was noted to say. And then somewhere down the line during this whole Trump era run, let's increase the gas tax by 10 cents over the next 3 years.
Correct.
Now, how do you feel so far about this flip-flopping?
I have problems with it.
I think you mentioned that, actually. You texted me.
At the time that she said that she would not run against Trump, I laughed.
Because you knew. You had the clairvoyance.
Let's say I suspected that was going to be problematic, unless, of course, Trump was going to make her his running mate. There's no shot at that now.
But, Dad, isn't that lying? Isn't that dishonest? Aren't politicians supposed to be arbiters of truth?
I wouldn't call it lying. I would call it flip-flopping. You can, when new data comes, you can change an opinion.
Okay, all fairness, I agree with you. So let's put the challenge on Nikki Haley or anybody who happens to be a political supporter of Nikki Haley that eventually will probably censor our stuff anyway. So you clearly know we exist, whether it's an algorithm or not. Why don't you have her vouch these points by then justifying why she flip-flopped? That's a very good question to ask. In fact, if I was actually asking her and she was on the campaign trail, I'd ask that and they'd probably shoo me out of the conference room.
No,
but I think they're fair questions. Why? Yeah. So, okay, it's fair you flip-flopped on these. Let's actually throw in some more.
Please.
Everyone on social media should be verified by their name. It's a national security threat.
Yes.
And then Vivek himself, during one of the debates, called her out on it, and she said, "I never said government should go and require everyone a name." How does? Okay, so fair. Okay, so I mean,
no, well, again,
I want to trust. Okay, in a good relationship, one of the best feelings in the world is trust. I mean, we may all screw up, so the way I'd see it is, okay, Nikki Haley, explain yourself. Like, what's with the flip-flopping here?
Right.
Because I don't know what to believe. What if, like, a year and a half from now, you become president, and you're really that flip-flopping bipolar, if you will, if I may be so bold, although, probably use a better term, but you get what I'm saying.
I'm good with that.
I mean, just going to each extreme is what I'm saying. All of a sudden, you turn around and, like, how do I know you're not going to do something rash?
You're right.
I don't like that. I mean, anybody's welcome to make a comment about this, but I guess the one about China, I'll just give her that one because in reality, Trump himself has kind of sort of flip-flopped a little bit about China. And
no, he didn't flip-flop. He lied.
He lied, okay.
Because he had a bank account in China when he was president. The Chinese, at least in 4 of his properties, spent $5.5 million in his properties while he was president, which is against the Emoluments Clause. So that's a difference than making a statement that you're going to execute this and then later on, again, some new data. But you're right. You need to explain why you changed from one to the other, and I haven't heard it.
That's totally fair. And then just to be fair, this one sounded like she was actually against the establishment, unless I didn't read this right. I don't think we need to pull money from the UN, she said, at one time in her career as a diplomat.
Well, as the U.S. UN ambassador, yeah, I could see her saying that.
Okay, that makes sense. But then she said the only thing we would defund is the UN as much as possible. I'm glad I could make you laugh.
That's running for president, Haley. So you had the pre-presidential candidate and then the post-presidential candidate.
It just seems unfortunate, though, that, well, again, so I wonder, a good question to ask her is, how did you feel emotionally knowing that everything you stood for politically as a diplomat in the past seems to go right out the window for the convenience of acquiring the power of the presidency? It just, I don't know, it's just a fair question, you know? But okay, just so you know, this was found, you can find some of these bites, I believe, in Russell Brand's opening monologue. Let me see if I can find it.
You didn't send me that one.
Okay, I'll have to look for that one, guys.
That would have been funny.
apologize.
But also, let's not forget the question that Nikki Haley had at a town hall asking her the cause
Of the Civil War?
exactly.
She was like, oh crap, I wish she hadn't said that almost. Although she didn't say it in those words. She kind of threw it back at the guy. And he's like, I'm not the one running for president.
Bingo.
Bingo, yeah, bingo, bingo. Like, I don't know what to say.
And then again, he came back and said that in 2023, how is it that she could not say that or mention slavery as a cause? And her response was, what do you want me to say about slavery? And then, of course, she spent a week floating around there trying to clean that mess up. Again, South Carolina was the first state to secede from the Union. I would think that she would have handled that better.
That's pretty fair, and I really don't know how to defend her on this because I'm not really trying to. But I at the same time, I mean, all right, well, okay, we might as well volley the conversation a little bit here. We got a little bit of time. Before I go further, is there anything that you were thinking? Anything on your mind?
What, reference Haley?
Haley or
No,
comets, astrophysics? It doesn't matter. Politics. Okay, let's keep going.
Because my next thing is going to Roger Stone.
All right, we'll go to the Roger Stone thing in a bit. Then we might as well end this episode, if you will.
Okay.
With another Russell Brand opening monologue for an episode titled, I'm just going to edit this, Oh Shoot. This is why they're jailing January 6th protesters. It all makes sense now.
He said, oh shoot.
Well, he said,
Brand said, oh shoot.
He dropped the S-bomb. You know I'm trying to be
Well, no. Hey, we tell the truth here. State it like he said it. He did not say, oh shoot. What did he say? And don't edit this out.
I won't edit it out. Oh shit. This is why we're jailing the January 6th protesters. Thank you for making me transgress my verbal
It's not that. You are quoting accurately because we tell the truth.
Fair enough. Okay. All right. Well, he brings up a good philosophical point, at least as I figure, okay? He starts with the opening monologue saying, if I may, let me put on. The January 6th insurrection is an event that is so egregious, sorry. It's my, that egregious that it brings people to tears. Why? Because that Capitol building is a sacred space. But if it's so sacred and so full of honor and valor, how come congresspeople are way ahead of the market when it comes to investing in stocks and shares? Could it be that they're exploiting their position in order to get ahead of the market? And if that's true, isn't the whole system corrupt? And if that's true, why are we so outraged anyways? Good point. In fact, I actually talked to a bloke today who was up at work, who was came up to my store, and he happened to work for J.P. Morgan. And I asked him this same question, and he told me, tell me about it. I was like, how is it that you, like financial experts, are not as ahead of the curve as politicians who do not have any background in this kind of monetary game theory? And yet, okay, so let's bring some proof about this. Okay, so
nope. Before you go to proof, all right, which he should explain to you, he can't do insider trading.
No.
Congressmen, which includes women, congresswomen, are allowed by law to do insider trading.
Okay, so let's.
And so, hence the reason why you have a lot of politicians who get in. I wouldn't call them poor, money. But when they leave, they're taking out the Brinks truck.
Yeah, they are with the feathered hat,
illegal.
the gold rims. How is it? Okay, so let's investigate this a little bit,
Yes.
okay? So if we focus on the making bets on the stock market, using your position of inside knowledge policies that will manipulate the market, and then having that insight to make you some coin. Okay, Congress apparently outperformed the stock market in 2023, according to a financial platform series of analysts titled under the moniker "Unusual Whale." So you can look that up if you want. I'm sure there's other information out there that will tell you similar.
That's true.
How do Congress people outperform Wall Street brokers? That's a dilemma. Callers, people, fans,
there
anybody.
is no dilemma. There is no dilemma.
It is a dilemma.
No, it's not. Congressmen are allowed by law to do insider trading.
So who passes the laws?
Congress.
So if
there have
propose
been
changing that law.
When you say the people, Congress makes the law, right?
Well,
there have been attempts by both sides, bipartisan, in order to change that law so that there can be no insider trading. There's also been attempts to have congresspeople either not allowed to sit on certain committees if they have a stake in companies that they're writing laws for, or to be able to divest, period. And so there would not be this allowance for potential, what we would call insider trading.
But as soon as those things get pulled into effect in Congress, they delay the hell out of those laws to be passed, and nothing ever gets done.
Correct.
Gee, I wonder what's wrong with this picture. Okay, you know what? The tragedy is I don't think there's much of a debate here. I think we both agree that's yes.
Yes.
I'm guessing a lot of people out there who have worked really hard to even just have the kind of money they could even accumulate to have stocks probably can't imagine that's very fair either. If there was potentially a law that could put a checks and balance on this, what do you think would be the best law for this? Just simply you're not allowed to do any bets while you're in Congress?
I don't know if I would want to go that far, but I would tighten that up, particularly if you're on any committee that may look into any company that you have stocks in, then you should either recuse yourself or be moved off that committee.
Hey, that's how juries get picked. Why can't you do that with Congress people and committees?
Or if you want to go even deeper, just not allow them to do any stock trading, because one can talk to another who knows that we're going to make a law that may affect this pharmaceutical company that you've got $2 million of stock in, which will drop the stock, and next thing you know, you sell to save yourself money. Or they'll write a law and Pfizer is going to get named to do a COVID drug, and so you invest before that hits the news.
Not fair. It doesn't seem just for people that propose to want to put the people ahead of their own proclivities. Is that fair?
I wouldn't put it that way.
Okay. Gee, this whole time I thought it,
No,
people like AOC were saints, but all right.
Where'd you come up with AOC?
She's
AOC
in Congress. She's popular.
This
came out
law.
of my head. I'm sorry.
And she didn't write this law, and this law's been on the books for decades. So.
I'm sorry. I meant to say Pelosi.
No,
Pelosi. Is that better?
There's little doubt that, let's say that she has benefited from this law. Or is believed.
I thought she cared about the people too.
No, well, you can put money in your pocket and still take care of the people.
Well, yeah, you can. I mean, I guess just if we're all right, I won't even go further. I'm going on a good tangent here, but I won't.
Okay.
All right, we have about 5 minutes left, I believe. Is there anything else that's weighing on your conscience right now?
You want to talk about Roger Stone now?
We're going to have to wait on that one. I'm sorry, we don't have enough time. That sounds like a really good one. What were we, last week, we were talking about, we had some funky stuff they were talking about. What were we talking about, like aliens and stuff like that?
No. You were talking about aliens in Florida.
Oh, yeah.
And I debunked it.
Well, I debunked it too. I didn't agree with it.
Well, you brought up the aliens.
Yeah, but I mean the concept of if I remember the conversation, hyperdimensional beings that exist in sleep. We're not even going to go there today because that's just going way too like you're going to hurt your neck just looking up and down. I mean that's no good. So, that's it. I mean, How are you? Good?
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The sad thing is that without this kind of adversity on planet Earth, we just don't have enough. I don't know if the right word is adventurous, but just news. Like, if there was really nothing to report, and I was like, how's your tea? How's the peas? It's almost like going to Thanksgiving with a bunch of, like, relatives who are so afraid of talking about real events that everything's just watered down to this very, like, nihilistic sort of pleasant fake politeness.
So it sounds like you want to be in Mayberry with Sheriff Taylor and Barney Fife.
No, actually, you know what I'd rather be like? I'll tell you exactly the difference between that. That to me is sterile, forced, legalistic, or fear-driven nullness, oblivion. I would rather be, instead of Fife, the guy that sits on a mountaintop and then out of nowhere that hippie with big dreadlocks and a beard and he looks like an Old Testament like prophet will sit there and it doesn't say a word to you, right? And you both sit there on the top of the mountain. You share a nice, bonding moment as you stare at the countryside. And his widow's peaks in his eyes are just smiling as he's staring at the countryside. And you telepathically go, this is a nice moment. Life is tranquil, right? That kind of thing.
Telepathically?
Well, I mean metaphorically speaking.
No, you said telepathically.
In other words, you don't need too many words, but you can be at peace versus like the weird sterilization of.
But you said they weren't going to talk to each other.
Well, no, you don't have to because you can just sense the moment. You're like everything's fine with the world, is what I'm saying.
And how long does this sit-in last?
Well, I guess as long as you're on a mountaintop on the afternoon, it doesn't have to be a guy. It could be a girl or whatever.
Okay.
Just like I'm just saying, like anybody. Okay. But like people just sharing a nice moment on a mountaintop's where I'm going with that. But whatever. All right, I guess we're out of time. Thank you for joining us today. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will be back with a part 2 of this episode, or we'll just call it episode 20, all right, where we coincidentally wear the same clothes in a little bit. All right, take care. Hi, folks. Hit a like and don't forget to subscribe. And share the episodes if you like them.